What's up, guys, and welcome to GameScript. I'm breaking down the Dallas Cowboys versus the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football for DraftKings Showdown lineups. And this should be one of the highest scoring games on the week, according to the total on this one. And I'm going to break it down right after this. What's up, guys? Simon Edwards at PumaCom here with Heat Seeker Sports, and you're watching GameScript and breaking down the Monday night game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is a game with a total of 49.5. They're playing in Dallas, and we got a 5.5-point spread, and Cincinnati are the favorites in this one. So it's kind of a look at how, Dallas has kind of come around recently. Their team has won a couple in a row, and they have Cooper Rush at the quarterback position. Dak Prescott is done for the season, so Cooper Rush is taken over as quarterback for the remainder of the season, and he's done pretty decent so far. And the Bengals, they are losing these ridiculous games where they're scoring like a massive amount of points, but their defense is just so bad that they can't stop opposing offenses. And just about every game that Cincinnati plays goes with a monster total. And, for the most part of this season, they've been losing those games. They're still in the playoff hunt, though. Dallas, I believe, is pretty much eliminated. So we're looking at Cincinnati with something to play for this week. And they're going to be trying to go all out to win this game. So expect Cincinnati to take this game very seriously on Monday Night Football. So make sure to hit that like button. Give me the 30 likes to trigger a shorter video. I have an underdog video I'm going to be putting out a little bit later on. And make sure to subscribe to the channel so you know when the GameScript episodes and the short videos come out. I am also only 10 short of hitting that 1,300 mark. So if you could do that, I was trying to get that by the end of Monday Night Football. So I definitely appreciate the help there. Now let's get into this player pool. Jamar Chase, I mean, he's going to be in a good situation this week. Dallas has been giving up 22.6 DraftKings points a game to the wideout position. So Jamar Chase, you don't need to go too much into him. He's going to be competing for targets with T. Higgins. T. Higgins has been getting a higher target share, but Jamar Chase is one of the best performing fantasy wide receivers. I think he might be the #1 overall fantasy wide receivers this season, and he's just had a bunch of monster games already this season. Ceedee Lamb, on the other hand, has been struggling. He was the #1 overall pick and or #1 or 2 overall pick, depending on which drafts you were in. But Ceedee Lamb has been very mixed, mostly on the downside, but he did have a 42-point week a few weeks ago. He was dealing with an injury, but he's off the injury report. His shoulder, he was carrying an injury designation earlier on in the season, but that's no longer the case. Joe Burrow has, he's just been putting up these monster point totals. If you look at these scores that he's lost, every game just about is in the 30s. So, Joe Burrow is capable of putting up a monster game. What is it, bud?
It's on the games that are at.
Okay. Yeah, not right now, bud. You show me when to come down, okay? Love you, bud. So Joe Burrow is definitely in play, especially against a Dallas defense that is giving up 21 DraftKings points a game to the quarterback position. Chase Brown, he should be pretty heavily used tonight, although if you look at his rush attempts, where's his rush attempts at? He's only had over 20 rush attempts a couple times this year, even with Zach Moss being done for the season. They brought in a backup running back a couple weeks ago. I can't remember his name. Let me scroll down and find Khalil Herbert. They brought in Khalil Herbert a couple weeks ago, but Herbert has not been integrated in yet. If it ends up being a blowout in favor of Cincinnati in this one, I would expect Herbert to get a decent amount of work. They've been talking about keeping Chase Brown's workload low, even though they have not done that yet. T. Higgins has been the main target for Joe Burrow when he's been healthy. And you can see he's got 10 targets, 13 targets, 14 targets, 10 targets. He's getting targeted more than Jamar Chase pretty much. But, T. Higgins has been doing really well this season. What is it, bud?
27 points, not 30.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Okay, my kid says that the Bengals scored 27 points a couple weeks ago instead of 30. So I stand corrected on one of those games. Dowdle, I don't think that he's going to get a lot of usage this week. He's just the Bengals are allowing 20 DraftKings points a game to the running back position, and I think that is going to be more of a pass happy game on the Dallas side because I don't think that the Bengals are necessarily going to have trouble scoring on Dallas, although Dallas's defense has been better lately. But Rico Dowdle, not in the rushing game at least. He should be getting more in the passing game than the rushing game this week. Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush, I'm surprised to see him cheaper than Dowdle. He's at 8,800. I think Rush is going to get a ton of attempts this week. Look at these attempts: 55 attempts, 32 attempts, 36 attempts in the last 3 weeks. I would expect Rush facing off against a weak defense. He's going to Cincinnati's been allowing 20.9 DraftKings points a game to the quarterback position. So, Cooper Rush should be, firmly in play this week. Probably one of the easiest plays this week as well. Brandin Cooks is at 7K. He just came back a couple weeks ago, recovering from that injury that he had. 7 targets in last week's game. I would expect Cooks to play a role in this game. He came back after missing about 9 weeks, and he's instantly getting 7 targets. So Cooks, you can expect him to be active in this one. Busy in this one potentially, especially with the injury to Ceedee Lamb's shoulder. Gesicki has been MIA ever since T. Higgins has been back, and the Cowboys are allowing middling 11.3 DraftKings points a game to the tight end position. Gesicki's a guy that you can use for sure. We know he gets targeted. He got 5 targets last week, but since T. Higgins has been back, it's just killed his target output for the most part. But he did have 5 targets last week, so definitely still in play, and the guy we can keep in our player pools at 5,600. And Ferguson comes back from a concussion this week. Has not heavily been well. He's been getting the targets, but he just hasn't been putting out any of those big games that we've seen from him in the past. But maybe this could be a game where he turns it around. Cincinnati's allowing 15.8 DraftKings points a game to the tight end position, but we see a lot of targets: 5 targets, 10 targets, 8 targets, 7 targets, 7 targets, 11 targets. So Ferguson is definitely going to be in play, and these guys fall right in range with these kickers. Aubrey is a stud. He's had that stretch in the early part of the season where just double-digit kicking points in the first 5 or 6 weeks. But he is capable of kicking some monster field goals. And if Cooper Rush is struggling to get the ball into the end zone, then Brandon Aubrey should be busy in a game where the defense isn't going to be doing too much to stop them. York on the Cincinnati side looks like, McPherson's on the IR, so York will be on the Cincinnati side. He had 2 points last week, but York, Cincinnati's not going to have any trouble moving the ball tonight, so York could be in play, but I think I'd take Aubrey over York. Josephus has been getting a decent amount of targets in the red zone, and teams have been having a 78% conversion rate in the red zone against the against the Cowboys, and Josephus is one of the guys who's gotten a decent amount of targets. So at 4,400, Josephus could be sneaky. Bengals D and the Cowboys D. I would probably take a chance. Well, yeah, probably not too interested in the defenses, but if you need that salary spot, 4K and 36K, they make sense. Schoonmaker, 34K, but we got Ferguson back, but he could still be involved. Turpin has been a sneaky play a few times. He scored another touchdown a couple weeks ago, 17.6 in that showdown slate against Houston. And like I said, Herbert, he's going to be he's going to be in play if we think it's going to be a blowout. Tolbert kind of takes a step back with Cooks back in the lineup, but with the amount of passing that Cooper Rush might do, that could make Tolbert a great value at 2,800. Mingo was the guy they picked up a couple weeks ago. Let's go and look at some of these snap shares for Dallas. Let's see. Dallas, we had 30% for Brandin Cooks in his first week back. 7 targets off a 30% snap rate. Just think about that. And this week, he's going to be healthier. 51% for Ceedee Lamb. 55% for Jalen Tolbert. 23% for Jalen Brooks. So Tolbert, still a 50. He had the highest snap share last week with Cooks back. So Tolbert definitely still in play. I didn't see Mingo on that list though. Hang on, let me go to multiple. Mingo had a 26% snap share last week. So 26%. So that at 2,200, that puts him in play. He had 4 targets. 4 targets last week too. So yeah, Mingo is definitely in play in a game where Dallas is going to be pass happy tonight. Zeke has been basically phased out with the addition of, or with the rise of Dowdle, but I don't think they're going to be doing many short runs this week. But he could get the sneaky end zone or red zone carry or goal line carry. Other than that, maybe Brooks. Brooks might be interesting. Only 1 target last week. But I probably wouldn't go much further down than that. Now let's build a lineup. Chase Brown, I think, is probably my favorite captain this week. I don't think he's going to have any trouble running against this Dallas team, and they're giving up 25.7 DraftKings points a game to running backs. I'm going to go with Cooper Rush. He's probably the next easiest guy to plug in. Jamar Chase should have a good game in this one. If we want to go down a little bit to cheaper guys, maybe Brandin Cooks. Maybe we go with Cooks over Ceedee Lamb this week. Leaves us with $39.50 per guy. As bad as that Cincy defense is, they're only giving up 10 DraftKings points a game to slot versus 23.8 to wideouts and 15.8 to the tight end position. So maybe we put in Ferguson as well. So that gives Rush 2 targets. Leaves us with 2,500. We saw a few guys that could be in play down in that range with Khalil Herbert if we think it's going to be a blowout. Jonathan Mingo. And, you could go in the Zeke Brooks range too if you like that direction. Burton was a guy that since he was trying to get going. But, the guys, he was kind of a knucklehead a few weeks ago. Slept through practice or something, and he got suspended for a game. Just a mess. So let's swap out Chase for Higgins. Maybe we think that Higgins has a better game. That's going to leave us with 4,500. That puts Josephus. It puts these defenses in play. It gets Turpin in play, and Tolbert, guys like that. So few ways that we can go there. If we think it's going to be more of a pass happy situation for the Bengals, more of a competitive game, maybe we put Cooks in the captain. Let's give it Chase, Burrow, and I still like Brown. Gonna go Cooks in the captain, and I like Rush tonight. So that's not gonna. So it's gonna be conflict there. Let's take. That's gonna be a tough one. Let's take Chase out and put Higgins in there. Leaves us with 1,100. We can get Brooks, Burton, guys like that. And Burton, we're gonna want to check and make sure he's even active. If we wanted to take Brown out, let's put Chase back in there. Maybe somehow they stop Brown. We can get Ferguson in there. That leaves us with 3,500. So we got options like Tolbert and Turpin and Mingo. I don't mind that direction so much. Let's put Ferguson. Let's put Ferguson in that captain spot. If it's a shootout, you can put these cheaper guys in the captain because any one of these guys could score like 2 touchdowns. So that is going to let us put Chase Brown back in and leaves us with like 1,500. So in that Brooks, Burton, get familiar with your dumpster dive this week, guys, because it could come in play this week. If Burton's playing, we got to know if he's playing for him to be interesting. But this type of build, we can take out Chase too, and put in Higgins. Puts us in 3,500, a little bit better with Turpin and Tolbert as options, and Herbert and Mingo. So going to be a tough one on this one, especially if you think it's going to be a higher scoring game. But my favorite direction is the Chase Brown captain direction, because I think Chase Brown, I think Cincinnati handles this game. It's indoors. I think there's going to be less emphasis on the passing game, maybe for Cincinnati, but they're going to have to pass it. They're going to have to pass it because their defense is so bad. It's just forcing them to have these monster pass games. Burrow, pass attempts, 38, 50, 56, 39, 37, 39, 38, 36. Even with these games where they're should be winning handily, 39 pass attempts against Vegas. He did have 25 against Cleveland. If we use this, maybe this Cleveland one would be a model for us. But that was before Winston joined the team. We're gonna get James Winston. They've only played Cleveland once so far this season. That was in week 7. So they haven't. I don't think they've played with Winston as the quarterback yet. So we're gonna get Winston versus the Bengals defense. That's gonna be a crazy game. But yeah, hit that like button. Give me the 30 likes so we can put out my favorites a little bit later on when we have more information. And make sure to subscribe to the channel. I only need 10 more to hit 1,300. And keep an eye out on the shorts for that underdog video to come out. And these underdog videos, I hit for the most part last night, but then we got a situation where Will Dissly got hurt in the first half, so they gave us a rescue and gave us our money back on it. But I was going for an anytime touchdown with Dissly, and the way that they were targeting the tight end in the second half, I think that could have come into fruition. But I got 4 out of the 5 right in that one. If you looked in my comment section, once I had who did I have in there? I had the receiver that got McConkey. I had Ladd McConkey in there. He got called out right before the game time started after I'd already built my my thing. So I put in the comment section to replace Ladd McConkey with one of the receivers over or higher than 3.5 receptions, and he ended up hitting on that mark. So we would have gotten four. We would have gotten 5 out of 5, but McConkey was out for that one. So we would have gotten 4 out of 5. And I think if a player gets hurt before the game starts, they don't cancel out your entry. They just reduce it to a pick 4. So we would have hit the pick 4 in last night's. But yeah, stay tuned for that to come out. Subscribe to the channel. You get and sign up for the alert to get that. And I will see you guys later on.